Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I want to talk about what are the costs of Doctors of Business Administration or PhD in Business Administration programs. And just get you to sort of think about things wisely and get you to choose a particular program that you're interested in to do it wisely. So if you don't know, I'm actually a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. Created this whole reciprocity platform to give back as much as I possibly can. I actually read some really cool stuff a long time ago in my doctorate research that shows that actually if you give more, and you can look at some of this work if you're interested, it's Eric von Hippel at MIT, as well as there's a bunch of other people doing this. Sheen Levine actually has a really cool paper at UT Dallas. But anyways, it's just basically the whole story is the more that you give out, the more likely you're going to benefit from this, right? Josh Lerner at Harvard talks about this kind of stuff too. So I want to, give as much as I possibly can, see what the heck happens with it, right? So I created this sort of a sharing economy proofreading platform, and now I'm doing these YouTube videos to help you as much as I possibly can. And I truly actually believe in it at this moment. I think it's really cool. So the costs of, why am I actually talking about the cost of a Doctorate of Business Administration degree or a PhD in Business Administration? Now, the reason why I'm sort of pointing this out is that the costs can vary extremely widely between institutions, and you should be very wise with this. So executive DBAs or just the DBA in general can be very, very costly. And you're looking at, kind of what the average is at most sort of legitimate programs that are doing that kind of stuff is about $30,000 a year. So anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000 a year, and it's probably going to take you 3 to 4 years to complete the entire thing for a DBA degree. Now, a PhD degree is they're going to pay you, so you're going to still have to pay. I paid for mine. I went to University of Western Ontario, and I paid, I think at the time it was $12,000 a year, but then we got a stipend at the end of it. And so I ended up making a little bit. It was below poverty level. For years and years, it was below poverty level. But, I made a little bit to get by and to eat. My wife was working at the time, so we were doing okay, but still it was extremely tough. At doing this particular thing. So, but at the same time, it could have been a lot worse if I would have chosen an executive DBA program, which would have been just cost prohibitive by far, or a DBA program or something like that. So this is what I would do if I were you, and I do this now, and I actually did this first of all with a major decision in my life in my PhD, and it worked out very positively. It was from somebody that told me, to think rationally with these kind of decisions, and it was very helpful. So if you're choosing the program that you're thinking of, I want you to actually get an Excel spreadsheet. You could do this right now, or you could do this in a bit, but just think about when you're making a decision to get a Doctorate of Business Administration or a PhD in Business Administration. Rank order or put in there the different institutions, then put the costs of how much they actually are going to cost per year and how long they're going to take, right? And then multiply those two. And then as well, see if you can find how much you're actually going to make once you're done that particular program. This is all just a financial calculation at the end of the day. And then you just subtract the two, right? You sort of see how much am I going to make and how much is going to cost. You can also put in different columns for, what are the opportunities it's going to bring. And so you can watch some of my other videos where I talk about that. You often don't know what these opportunities are going to be with these particular degrees, and they could be astronomical opportunities, and you're just kind of being opened up to all of it. It's not as rational as you think it's going to be in terms of the decision you're going to make, right? So, and really what I'm trying to get you is not necessarily to decide whether you should go into program or not, but to get you to sort of think about what is a good program for you once you've decided that, right? So you can rank order, 15 different institutions, apply to those different institutions. If you get 3, then you could sort of see which ones in the Excel spreadsheet is going to pan out in terms of, how much they're going to make and, what is the cost is going to be. And you could sort of rationally think through this a little bit more. You could sort of look at, in an Excel spreadsheet, write down who's there, just be very rational with that. It's going to help you make these decisions a lot more. It's often very difficult to make these decisions. So I'm just trying to get you to think about the costs of, a DBA degree versus a PhD degree. So every single institution that you go to, the education is going to be probably pretty phenomenal. It doesn't matter which institution you're going to be. The training is going to be good. You're going to get sort of understand the world completely different than what you're thinking about. But there's a couple of other factors you should think about is, thinking about the particular reputation and the signaling effects that you get from the particular reputation that you're going to. So depending on what you're doing, sometimes those signaling effects matter and sometimes they don't, right? So if you're just looking for the educational benefit, if you're just doing this for an executive DBA or getting a DBA to go into industry, probably not going to matter nearly as much as you think in terms of the reputation. So just choose the program that's probably most convenient for you in terms of the location. So you don't want to be, if you're in LA, you don't want to be flying to Boston all the time, right? Like that's not going to be convenient for you and your family, and that's going to be a long time. That's going to be really difficult to do. But if you are, so you probably want to look at something that's in LA, right? The Los Angeles area, and see which one's convenient for you. But if you're looking at doing research, and the signaling effects are actually really important in that particular area, at least for your first, academic positions and stuff like that. So if you're thinking of becoming an active researcher and you're going in that particular direction, what you want to think about is going to a research university with active researchers. Doesn't matter where it is, but you want to be looking at that and making sure that there's active researchers going on at those particular institutions. A lot of schools they'll end up having a group of people that are not necessarily doing active research, and then a small group that are, and you just want to look at those active ones and just look to see if they have recent publications in legitimate journals in that particular area, whatever you're looking at. I'm leaving it up to you to sort of search for those legitimate journals. But really the reason is everybody's going to be trained well at any institution. You're going to get a good education, but you also want to send a signaling effect or send a signal to people around you that you're being trained at the state of the art when you're doing the research if you're doing the research track, that you want to be trained at the best possible you can be trained at, and then everybody is going to say, oh, they understand the current debates or what's going on in the particular literature and stuff like that. So if you're going to do sort of less, sort of the ones that are less sort of high status institutions, they're just, they're following along, but there's just maybe a smaller crowd, or maybe that they are just kind of on a little bit of the outside of it. And, it does matter, unfortunately, all this kind of stuff. And it's stuff that I wish I would have known, to be honest. And hopefully this benefits you in its best possible way I can. So if you're looking at the costs and benefits, what I want you to do is get an Excel spreadsheet, list the institutions, write them down, and please report back to me. Actually, write this in the comments if you've done this, and rank order those things, and tell me if it actually helps you, because it did for me. So I'm curious to see what it's going to do for you. Please do write that down, make some comments, and see if it actually makes you think a little bit more clearly about these particular programs. All right, so that's all I'm going to talk about. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, take care. Bye.